Oh man, it's been a sad day today.
Okay there, Max?
Let's check in on Max really quickly here. Not looking so good.
Dang.
Oh man,
Dang.
I'm sorry, Max. I feel for you, brother.
I throwing in the towel on that one. Shoot, man.
Man, it looked like
tough.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna hit you on
I
that.
appreciate it.
The box is just for illustrative purposes here. Max has actually downed them all.
Yeah,
since,
7 already.
The end of the game.
We got we'll get through them.
Yeah.
Welcome to the PHNX Rising Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's not a good day today. Not only is it gloomy outside,
Like we literally walk out of Four Peaks and I look at the sky and it's gloomy and it starts raining. I'm like, you know what? This is poetic. The weather and the sky matches exactly how I feel inside.
Max looked up and one raindrop just hit him in the forehead. Man, it was sad.
Yeah.
The U.S. fall to the Netherlands in the round of 16s in Qatar 2022. That means all Concacaf nations are out. Our last hope. The U.S. of A. did not have a good game today. They fall 3-1 to the Netherlands. Owen, how'd you? I know you didn't have too many stakes on this game, but still, it was sad to see you, right?
I mean, I'll be honest. I was doing too many rounds to count how many people were in there.
You would come back. He's like, it's 200. This 500.
No. I mean, from the perspective of just seeing how much energy there was in there, of course, you want that to continue, but. Look, at the end of the day, if you're looking at this from the US's perspective, it was a promising tournament, right? They get out the group. There are positive signs there with a very young squad ahead of a World Cup that's going to be hosted on home soil in 4 years. So from the US's perspective, this was a good stepping stone. I know that before the tournament started, Max, you said that the aim for the US had to be to get out of the group. They did do that. They lost to the Netherlands. There is ultimately no shame when you lose to a country like the Netherlands. At a major tournament in a knockout game. It's one of those things. It happens. So I think that at the end of the day, it's been a successful tournament for the US. I understand that you're going to be disappointed now.
Sure.
You still made me come on the show after seeing Wales get knocked out. So I'm afraid I'm not holding back in some regards.
As you should. No, I said I mean, listen, I have a bias. I'm clearly wearing. I'm a U.S. supporter. And if I'm taking my unbiased hat off, I said very clearly, like you just mentioned, going into here, the minimum expectation was to get out of the group. That to me was the line of pass, fail, success, failure, whatever you want to call it. There were some people who were saying, play till 2026. This is a tune-up. I didn't buy that, but I also didn't buy the people, oh yeah, go US, we're going to make a deep run. I didn't buy that either. My thing was get out of the group stage and have a decent showing in the round of 16. If you win it, fantastic. You blow it out of the water. If you lose, as long as you keep it close, it's respectable. But to me, again, getting out of the group stage was the barometer of success. And when you look at this team, there are some major flaws, especially offensively. We're going to get into it a bit. It reared its head today. I think that when you look at this tournament as a whole, there were times where US sat back. They invited every team that they played in all of the group stage matches, and today they allowed them to play themselves back into the day. But for each of the 3 matches in the group stage, I said it back then and I'll say it again, they were the protagonists. For much of that match, they dictated play and they were the protagonists. And for the first 10 minutes today, they were the protagonists once again. They were the better team. But the one thing that they had not faced at this World Cup, in qualifying for a while and just in a long time, was if you concede the first goal, how do you look? And we saw today from a body language perspective, from how the team was playing, from the lack of identity, focus, creativity, urgency to go forward, even a bit of, I don't want to say infighting, but a bit of blaming and pointing fingers internally. We said this was a young team. It's the second youngest team at the tournament. And when they went down, you saw a team who didn't know how to respond. And you look at their opponents, the Netherlands, who they've been there, they've been in that situations. Even before conceding that goal late in the first half, it was one of those where when they went 1-0 down, we wanted to see how they responded, and immediately we didn't see that. And I think the rest of the match was playing out with that narrative.
You saw just the quality of the Dutch in that goal, that opening goal. I mean, come on, Thanksgiving was just over a week ago. They carved you up like a turkey.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have made any difference if there wasn't a single US player on the pitch. The passing was that precise, that perfect. They just made it look so easy.
Clinical.
They played completely through any kind of defense that was there. And it just looks simple.
Yeah, and that's what the great teams actually make soccer look like. Just simple passing, easy, and exactly how you described it. They carved up the U.S. defense. It was a sight to see.
The U.S. through their 3 group stage games, and I mean, listen, people can talk about the quality of opponent, like this group. There was, Wales very good on the counterattack. They had some promise, some chances in their first game in the second half. England, talent across the field. Iran, they could bunker in, but they'd spring on the counter. Lack of offensive talent in some aspects, but this was the highest rated group per average team. Every single team was in the top 20. The U.S. was tied for first with a lot of other teams in the World Cup with conceding 1 goal, and it was a penalty. And then to the first goal in open play that they conceded in this game, within the first 10 minutes, you let in 3 throughout this game. I mean, the defense to me was, you always have a chance in knockout football when you have a solid defense, which this U.S. team has been throughout the entire tournament. And they were just sloppy from the fundamentals. Guys not tracking back, not clearing your lines, letting in open shots. Matt Turner can only do so much. He had a couple amazing saves, but when you're letting in shots from, high XG goals, point blank range, even if they were outside the box, you give a guy like Memphis Depay those types of opportunities, he's going to finish. And I mean, there's a lot of defensive failures. I think the back line did not cover themselves in glory. I always said going into this game, it was a battle of the midfields. That's both of these teams' strongest areas, and they bossed us every single time that they cleared lines. They had Frankie de Jong or Klaassen ready to receive the ball and immediately spring forward. On our end, we were void of creativity. From a midfield perspective, Yunus Musa couldn't carry the ball forward. McKennie, he didn't really have any creative passes like he did against Iran. And Tyler Adams, he's been our player of the tournament for the U.S. men's national team. I think if you ask anyone, I think that's a resounding win. He had an average game, but I just don't think we saw a bit of that line-breaking passes that he had against Iran. He covered up the defense a bit, but everything as a whole was just late to defensive tracking back. And the last thing I'll say before getting into players and some of the people we want to highlight, Serginho Dest, when you're facing your team who you could have played for the Netherlands, and I think this was a bit of a statement game for him, his worst performance in a U.S. men's national team kit. He was invisible. He was asleep on that second goal that they let him before halftime, and just, I don't know where the performance was. You think you'd get up for a performance like this, and it was atrocious from him.
I do want to just hop in though before we move on and just pick up on one thing that you said there, which is about the fact that defense can be what wins you these titles. I think that that's slightly misplaced, okay? I think that what you see in these tournaments is that teams that are solid defensively but have at least a level of just clinical finishing is what gets you there. The teams that are decent enough at bunkering in and defending get out of the group, but they don't get much further for the simple reason that in the group stage, sitting back, defending, not conceding goals is a strategy because you can draw. Once you get to the knockout stage, and that's not viable, you have to score goals, partly because the caliber of the opponent you're up against, by now you're more likely to concede a goal no matter what you do, and B, you have to score to get through. You can't draw. You're going to be dragged into a longer game. And the one thing that we've seen the US struggle with throughout this tournament is goal scoring. Look, the Dutch scored as many goals today as the US scored over 4 games at this tournament. That has been where a large problem has been. We said it in 4 Peaks today, right? the US could have and probably should have put the Wales game to bed by half time.
Yep.
They didn't, and that opened up the opportunity for Wales to get back into that game. Ultimately, the US just wasn't connecting in the final third, wasn't finishing in the final third, and that's what costs them games in the group stage. It's partly what's going to cost them games like this going down the line as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a quick look at the numbers over here, see how it ended up. Owen talked about being clinical. That's what you have to be, especially in the knockout rounds. Obviously, 3 goals to the Netherlands, 1 to the U.S., 58% possession for the USA. And I think that was kind of the game plan that Louis van Gaal had for the Netherlands. Let the U.S. take control of the game. We're going to sit back. We're going to bunker down, and we're going to hit them in the counterattack. And it kind of showed a little bit with the U.S. center backs not being able to create any chances or create opportunities from the beginning. X goals 1.51 for the U.S., 1.77 for the Netherlands, 17 shots for the U.S., 11 for the Netherlands, and then 8 shots on target for the U.S. and 6 for the Netherlands. And that's the key number right there, because 6 shots on target for the Netherlands, 3 of them ended up being goals. And that's what clinical elite teams do.
There was also a point at one point late in the broadcast where they threw up the numbers on final third entries. You saw that US had more than double the final third entries that the Netherlands had. And yet at that stage, it had only taken 2 more shots than them.
Well, I think I agree with what you're saying, right? And the reason why I didn't touch on the offense is I guess everyone kind of knew that our attackers were not in dangerous positions. Like, I think scoring 3 goals through 2 goals through the group stage and 1 in the knockout, 3 goals in this tournament is just not going to get it done. The reason why I say the defense is because I do think that's so crucial a lot of these times in these World Cups. I mean, you've seen a lot of these last finals, they're 1-0. I mean, the last one I think was a bit of an outlier against France and Croatia, but a lot of these it comes down to who's going to make the mistake. I think these are traditionally lower scoring when you get into the knockouts, and you think that the defense would at least give you a shot to stay in the game. They did not, and once you go down that 1-0, that's why I'm like, the defense let you down and you're not really going to have that chance. Going back to those numbers, I think that a lot of them, when you look at it from the numbers perspective, this is where they can be deceiving. U.S. had more possession. They were even on shot. They had more shots. They were kind of even in XG. But when you look at the actual shot chart that we have in there, that to me is really where the discrepancy is. And it is that clinical finishing that the U.S. just has not had, not only this game, but really the entire tournament. Because you see on the left, the blue, that is all of the U.S. shots. They have the 1 goal, but like you just see, they're peppering the box. They had a lot of chances, but they just go in these wayward passes versus the Netherlands. Every single one of theirs was on late arriving runs. They know how to provide that space and get into those dangerous positions. And you don't need a lot of shots and to test the keeper if you're 1 or 2, or in this case, 3 opportunities that you get make the difference.
I'm just going to say, actually, can we just toss that graphic back up a second? The one shot that it identified there. That some of those shots later, I mean, Walker Zimmerman.
Trying to do his best Richarlison impression.
Yeah. Mate, is that what he thought that Gareth Bale was going to do in the first game?
You literally told me that, and I was like,
what's he doing that for?
Tough.
What's he trying to take a shot on like that for? And when you try and take those kind of desperation shots late in the game, there's desperation shots, and then there's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and the worst thing about it is listen, goals can come from anywhere, but most teams, as you advance into these knockout rounds, the 16, the quarterfinals, the semis, if you don't have an out-and-out striker, you at least have a couple of guys who it's like they are your playmakers. But we don't have that. And if Producer Lee, if you can pull up the tweet that provided from Opta, it's really kind of telling where, if you can see it, it's the U.S. starting strikers combined for no goals on 6 shots, 1 on target, an expected goal value of 0.5. So half a goal over their 4 World Cup matches, where most strikers, you see a team like Serbia, even with Mitrovic. You see a Brazil with a dearth of attacking talent. You see all these teams who, if they don't have a number 9, they at least have either players who can make the difference. And the U.S., you have Haji Wright starting games. You have Josh Sargent, who I think was probably the best number 9, but that's not saying much. Haji Wright gets a fluke goal. Jesus Ferreira, who at one point was going to be your starting 9, plays 1/2 and then gets sub out. There's no creativity. Yeah. I don't know where you look for the answer. I know a lot of people, and we'll see it in the comments, we're chatting for Pepe. I don't know why he doesn't get a look, but you think you need someone to put the ball in the back of the net. And not only did they not do that, really, there was just nothing at all from the strikers.
Yeah, and I think that stems from, and we saw this through the qualifying for the World Cup, that the U.S. has a lot of difficulty breaking down teams that sit in that low block. And so how do you break those down? You need guys that are creative on the ball, that can take players one-on-one and create those chances. I don't think any number 9 that was there would have made a difference. I don't think it's Jesus Ferreira's fault today that he started. The fact that Pifoc's not in the squad, or Pepe, I don't think any of those guys would have made a difference, honestly, because the service is not there. The guys that are supposed to be these creative forces, you know, quote unquote, Gio Reyna, who's not even playing half the time, or, you know, even at least 30 minutes per game. It's dumbfounded. And I think that's when I got to point it at the head coach and say, why aren't you putting these guys in positions to be successful? Play them in the positions where they can get the service to the box. And you don't see that. So I think that kind of falls on the coach at this time. So if people are upset about that, I think they have every right to be.
There is something to be said, though, for the fact that this US team, as a national team, does not typically get the chance to play big games like this outside of at a World Cup, okay? The Gold Cup just doesn't compare. It's nothing. Nothing like this at all whatsoever. There is no way that the US can replicate the feeling of a major knockout game in a World Cup against a big country like the Netherlands in any other real setting. All that happens is they play Mexico in front of a stadium packed full of Mexican fans. Okay, and it happens every 2 years, and it's same old, same old. Now it happens even more than that, because now you've got the Nations League. Now, the intriguing thing to me, and this is looking ahead now, going forward a lot more, is if we talk about how they can't really prepare at the national team level for that already, how are they going to do now that qualifiers are out the way? How are they going to do knowing that Gold Cup is all they have now for 4 years?
That's the same thing Guillermo Ochoa said when Mexico got eliminated. He said, we know the level of the Gold Cup. We cannot prepare for the next World Cup by playing the Gold Cup and playing teams in the Caribbean. No disrespect to any of those nations, but at this point, I think
Cup semi-finalist Qatar.
Exactly.
Who left with 0 points.
Exactly. And so at this point, if you're Concacaf and you're the hosting nations, Canada, US, and Mexico, you got to look elsewhere, man. You got to look and say, hey, can we play in the Asia Cup? Can we play in Copa America? Because like you're saying, if you have these young players that have not been at those stages, granted, if they haven't played, I mean, I would compare it to maybe a Champions League football. And even then, if you're just playing in the group stages, not getting really deep in the tournament, you're not getting that super high level experience. So these nations have a lot of work to do ahead of them, because it's going to be rough, man. You can't prepare for the 2026 World Cup with just the Gold Cup.
And you can't do it with friendlies either. This idea that I think a lot of, if you went back 10 years, people would really fixate on some of the times when the US would go away to play against
you
European
can't even play
countries.
Those games anymore. Because
you struggle to now with the UEFA Nations League as well.
Nations League is probably the worst thing that could have happened to CONCACAF.
And I mean, it's something that now you even see that there's always the reports about how CONMEBOL teams are trying to get involved in that as well. They kind of want in somehow to get involved with UEFA, because they want those same kind of games, the tough games against European opposition that they don't get when they play against ultimately the same 10. There's 10 countries that play against each other all the time. They want to kind of mix it up a little bit.
I mean, I missed the Confederations run back in
I like that tournament.
Late 2000s. I think that was something, but. I mean, I think the big thing, right, and then what both of you guys are saying is this is not an implicit bias. I was like, oh, like all CONCACAF teams are bad. We're not saying that, but you can even just see in the level of play, the quickness that Netherlands plays, a lot of these UEFA teams play. It's just not the same type of style that goes on the CONCACAF. I mean, this is such a systematic thing. It's not just talking about one country. Like a lot of these UEFA things, they have deep youth teams. They have integrate players across European leagues, which are just playing at a faster pace, different technical capabilities, different resources. Like this is not just an overnight fix of, oh yeah, CONCACAF, you can get there. Even if you wanted to raise the level, it's been ingrained in, I mean, not just UEFA, that's the easy one to point to since they've won every single World Cup since 2006. But you're also pointing to other nations like CONMEBOL, like all these different federations across the world where they are building the level from the ground up, and you just don't see that. It's a very slow burn in CONCACAF. And to what we're all saying, where does that come from? It's not going to get done in friendlies. You hope that your players play in the top leagues, but even that, there is nothing that replicates international football more than playing in international football.
Yeah, it's very different. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what happens. I don't think this is just a U.S. problem. Like I said, this is an entire CONCACAF. My opinion, do a Copa America like they did in 2016, where they bring you have the entire CONMEBOL teams, add them to CONCACAF. I think that kind of replicates in a sense. You can't really play in UEFA tournaments, so it's like, what do you do? You know?
Here's one thing that is interesting, actually, and it's happened in the past. Because UEFA is kind of split with some of the groups are usually 6 teams, some of them are 5. We have seen in the past cases where host nations are kind of allocated to a group of 5 and they play in the European centralized friendlies then, which is interesting. How that'll work, because obviously there's more teams qualifying this coming year. Will we see a different qualification format out of Europe? We don't know yet. But for example, in the past qualifying cycle, you did see that one of the groups that only had 5 teams in it in Europe actually played, the teams in there played Qatar as though they were a 6th team in that group. Didn't count for anything. They were just friendlies, but they were caught up in games against them. Now, of course, again, they're just friendlies. And the problem with that is they're also so inbuilt with the European matches. It'll be much like, I remember when the US traveled away to play Wales in 2020, and it was, okay, great, but Wales have an important match coming up like a couple of days after. It's going to be the reserves in that game, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, a lot of big questions ahead of 2026. One thing we can be happy about, though, is the turnout today.
Yeah.
At Four Peaks. It was an amazing sight to see. I got there late because there was no parking spots. There's so many people waiting for the doors to open. And then how many people were there?
I mean,
I counted 377.
I mean, listen, that's our perfect segue into our king of the game.
That's
our
right.
DraftKings king of the game. I mean, it is our fans. Wonderful multiple crown placements by producer Leah.
Bam, bam.
It was amazing. I got there at 7:20 today. Doors opened at 7:30, and there was already 75 plus people in line before the doors even opened. It was a little cold. People are stirring, but it was awesome. Like,
all the people ready to go.
And like, honestly, when you guys said you got there a couple of minutes afterwards, the line was wrapped around the corner, but it was just packed. 377 people at Four Peaks. And a lot of these people, there are some, friends of our show, PHNX Rising. There are people in Banditos that we've met before, but a lot of people I had never met, you had never met, people who either were soccer fans and just didn't know about us, or people who had like Charles, who had never been a massive soccer fan, but he just came out to support us, and we love what we do.
Yep.
My man here, I literally tweeted out from the Rising account, hey, can anyone bring me coffee? I'll buy you beers. Literally shows up with a Starbucks and bought him beers, little bartering. It's
you chugged that coffee too, man. You were nervous.
I was a mess this morning. But
yeah, shout out to them. And Charles too, man. He's been at the majority of the watch party. So shout out to him for hanging out with us and always making it a good time. So
yeah, man. Yeah. I love. I was gonna say. I mean, shoot. I see this holiday cheer box in front of me. I'm gonna.
grab one.
You guys want to explain what's going on? I'll grab one.
So Owen, can you go? Like, you came back. You were reporting the amount of people that were showing up.
Awkwardly squat here. Sorry. Like,
he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Quick, someone move the chair.
What flavor is it? 377 people. That's incredible, man. And
I tried.
I know you did. It's a hazy.
Nice. Yeah, man. Good to see everybody there. We're gonna see if we can work out something for the semis and finals, so at least we can hang out, a couple more times before the World Cup ends. But amazing time today. Yeah. The result wasn't there, but it's always, enjoyable to spend it with good people.
Yeah, so. I mean, shout out Four Peaks. They've been amazing hosts. Every U.S. match, all 4 of them, all 3 Mexico matches. It's been an amazing turnout so far. I mean, they told me, there's a lot of things going on. Black Friday was a territorial cup, but like that USA-England match, it was packed. They said that was like one of, if not their best hour or 2s of business, like in their history. Like our fans showed out. It was absolutely amazing. The Four Peaks crew crushed it. All of these watch parties, but this will not be the last of them. We're talking with them about how we can choose a couple of the semifinal matchups, the World Cup final. More info to come, but we definitely are going to make those big. Stay tuned on our PHNX_. PHNX_Rising account and at PHNX_Sports on Twitter, on our socials for more information. But you can also purchase this holiday cheer box if you want to get more into the season and feel a little bit better. I'm going to start drinking this
Max,
hazy.
Do you want me to get you a cold one? We have a ton of cold hazies in the fridge.
You know what? No, we don't deserve a
Oh
cold. We don't
my
deserve
God.
nice. We don't deserve nice things right now.
God.
I'm gonna enjoy a
man.
lukewarm hazy. That's quite all right, but
Oh, there you go.
recovered faster than the U.S. did in that match after going a goal down. But you can buy this holiday cheer box at Four Peaks at their 8th Street pub for $55. It's a cool little advent calendar box. We're already at day 3 of December, goes through Christmas Eve. But yeah, if you want to catch up, you just chug 3 beers. So yeah, have fun with that.
Max, you being asked the question.
Yeah, you're
Is
being asked
Max
the question.
having OGs after the L? Well, yes, I will be partaking during. We're gonna. I think Owen and I.
We'll stick
I think
around
we're
for
gonna
the
stay
next
here,
game.
watch the
Yeah.
Argentina-Australia game. I will be taking an OGs, and we had an awesome time at the World of Wonder last night. Kind of tired because it was a fun night, but awesome time with our friends over at OGs. One of the only people who can help cure this sadness right now that I am feeling with the U.S. men's national team. But yeah, check out more stuff from them, more stuff from our friends at Four Peaks, and for both of them, must be 21 years or older to enjoy some delicious Four Peak brews or some OGs gummies.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, it's a sad ending that we saw today, but there's still a lot of World Cup left. Like Max was saying, we got Argentina versus Australia coming up. It's gonna be fun. And I don't know if you guys were watching the games yesterday or the past week, but all those the games that happen at the same time, man, that is the best part of the World Cup, I feel, because you saw yesterday with Uruguay being knocked out and Luis Suarez crying and Ghana missing another penalty.
That's the highlight, right?
That's insane.
The
man.
best part was Ghana time wasting when they realized we can take these guys out with us.
I mean, if we can't go through, we're gonna take them down with us.
You can't go through. Let's get Luis Suarez to cry.
Ghana's Ghana literally was remembering from 2010. It's like, I haven't forgotten my debts, but I mean, they make it happen even though they kind of don't. I love it. Look, World Cup can be petty. It's a theater. I see Sean in the comments. Supermax is so dramatic. I mean, listen, it's just drama. He's not totally wrong. I feel a lot. It's a sport where, man, you see like grown men and women crying. Like it means a lot. It's cool, but this is why we love it. But yes, I'm dramatic and a little petty right now.
I was like going on TikTok after these games and seeing the reactions of people and how they take it, and it's like the Japan game and how people at a bar reacted, or a South Korean dad crying, and it's like, what the heck, man? Everybody loves this. So.
But like I don't know. I love that about like sports in general, but especially about the World Cup, where it means so much to people that like it's just crazy. You look in the stands and like people are literally like fired up, or like they're like happy tears, sad tears. Like I love that. It's something that you don't get that every day. And like, yeah, man, feel your shit. Like feel sad, feel super happy, all that stuff. It's beautiful. It's really cool. But I think I don't know. I mean, this is why I'm happy the World Cup is every 4 years and not we're not trying to get every 2 years. That's another story for a different time. I do want to really quick point to if you look at the VAR graphic that we have, we can talk about that further at some point, but that is pretty much how I feel.
I completely,
that graphic.
You got that
exactly. That's exactly
I
how
didn't see that one during the
feeling.
game, but it said after the game.
Yes, exactly.
Depresión.
That's how. Ooh, yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one bar decision I think we can all agree with right now. Yeah, man, it's been a great tournament so far. I don't know if it's the best World Cup I've ever seen, but there's certainly a lot of upsets.
Chaos.
It's a chaos tournament.
And that's a good thing, I think.
I think so.
Right? Like, we all love to watch those just ridiculous results. I mean, come on. Japan lost to Costa Rica and somehow beat Germany and Spain.
They beat.
How do you?
Not only did they beat Germany and Spain, they were down 1-0 in each game early in the first half, and then scored 2 goals in each game in the second half. Late in the second half, it's crazy. Morocco winning the group. Belgium, someone's dark horse, getting bounced, just finishing last. It's crazy.
I had them going to the final.
So did I. I'm winning the whole thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's always fun to have those stuff going on. But I think, Owen, now that Wales and the U.S. and Mexico are done with, I think you have a brand new favorite team, right? That you're supporting.
Yeah, so we're going to have a slight format change, I think, to this podcast going forward. We might need to unveil it now quickly in a second. Yeah, so welcome to the PHNX Senegal podcast. Yeah, we're all big Senegal fans here. Didn't you realize that, boys?
I think one of us is.
We're all big Senegal fans. Definitely. It's nothing to do with their other games that they've got. We're just big Senegal fans. Always have been. Huge Senegal fans. You know,
Can you name a Senegalese player?
You can name a couple.
Probably, yeah. Big Senegal fans.
I wonder why
Didn't
he's
you
wonder
see
why
those
he's
guys
rooting
all
for
dancing
them.
in line? It's great. We love Senegal, don't we, boys?
Oh my goodness.
We love Senegal.
If you guys were not aware, Senegal is facing England tomorrow at 12. So that probably
big Senegal
explains.
fans we are. If anyone's got any Senegalese flags, please send them in.
Yeah.
We would appreciate those. Thank you. Big Senegal fans.
Oh, yeah.
Actual shout out, though, on that one. Can we shout out Catherine Nesbitt, who is the first American woman to work a World Cup match on the field?
Nice. Saw that yesterday, right?
And the first woman to work an on-field position in a men's World Cup knockout game.
That's awesome, man. Love to see it. Love to see it. So, again, the other game today, Argentina versus Australia. Man, I think Argentina is going to be taking this one, but we'll see. I don't even know what to think in this tournament.
Like that's the thing. Like on paper, yes, but as we said, we don't play these games on paper. I don't know, man.
I don't think Argentina's been that great. You know,
they have gotten better every single match.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Yeah, for sure. Tomorrow, early game, France versus Poland. Mexico should be playing them, but that's not the case. And then England against Senegal.
Still bitter, Ramon.
Yeah, I am actually. It's not going to go away. Monday, Japan versus Croatia. I'm going Japan. That's my team. I got the jersey. Should have won the jersey today.
It's a fresh kit.
Brazil versus South Korea. And then Tuesday, Morocco versus Spain. And then Portugal versus Switzerland to close the round of 16. Any
so we're really ending on like the most dull of the games.
No, Portugal is going to be fun.
How about that?
No.
I mean...
No, what's going to happen? Cristiano Ronaldo's going to keep crying that it grazed his hair, so it should be his goal. Yeah, so we can keep arguing that somehow, he's caught up with Eusebio. Yeah, but he got him in one World Cup, whereas like Ronaldo's taken 5.
That is true. Can't fault that. Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of fun games, man. I'm rooting for like Japan, South Korea. I just want some upsets, right?
I think there's going to be a lot of poophousery, if you will. A lot of
That's big up Morocco, is it?
Big ups Morocco.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, Morocco, you win the group. Congratulations. You get to face Spain.
Go figure.
For sure.
Man.
After the round of 16, they don't play again until Friday. So no more daily games, no more 2:30 a.m. wake up to watch the 3 a.m. game because those are rough on your boy, man. But yeah, it's been a fun World Cup so far. Anything else, guys? You want to hit on?
I was gonna say, like, as these round of 16 games develop and the quarterfinals take shape, tweet at us, tweet at PHNX_rising, and let us know, like, hey, which type of watch parties we want to do at Four Peaks moving forward, all that stuff. We'll start planning some things out, but please let us know. This is not the end. We're gonna keep on talking about World Cup stuff. I know, Owen, we want to do a nice deep dive breakdown of your time in Qatar this coming week.
What, on the next episode of the PHNX Senegal podcast?
Oh my God, boy, it's bad for SEO. Yeah, exactly.
Where all these Senegal fans from?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm down for that.
Well, I really don't want to hear about with Owen's trip. I want to hear about Laib's trip. You know, that's what I'm interested in.
I'm not.
I'm sure he has a lot of stories to tell. So, all right, y'all. But yeah, that wraps it up for us today on this Saturday, man. So I haven't been here this early, so I'm a little confused on what to do for the rest of my day. But
I'm just dead inside, yeah.
Oh my goodness,
I have hollow eyes and a hollow heart. Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of beer here. We'll kill it right now. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much, guys. Producer Leah, thank you so much for waking up early and helping us out over here as well. And then for everybody that has watched this today, thank you so much. We appreciate your comments here. Hope to see you on the next one. Until then,
I think
who's signing us off today?
I'm hearing something. I'm hearing
someone
something.
saying something.
Is that Laib?
Is he saying
Thank you. Now it's on.
What the hell? Why is he talking? All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a good one.